This is John Bailey, the epic voice of Honest Trailers, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. It's a fangirls podcast with five-ish people. The tangents and squee will continue. Squee.
The tangents and squee continue all the way to episode 214 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. And last week we told you about some of fandom's highlights and lowlights from 2018. But this week, let's talk about really just the highlights and our personal favorites. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So I'd like to join us. Let's start like we do. We'll go to the virtual table and see who joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel from Hoth.
Oh,
yeah, you and
Again.
me both.
Yeah, it's migrated west as well. We're snowed in.
We didn't get that much snow, but it is just cold.
yes.
And I'm
Cold
pretty
and-
sure that the ground is just a layer of ice. I'm going to need ice skates to go to work tomorrow.
So basically,
Yeah.
pretty much we're echoes 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
True.
So if anyone wants to send us to Florida,
Yeah.
please email us.
Mm-hmm.
Once all the hubbubaloo dies down from the super blood wolf apocalypse moon that occurred last night, apparently.
But yeah, whatever that thing was, I missed it because I was in my bed.
Yeah, me too. I was pretty it was warm. Like I can see the moon if I go out on my porch, but it was below 0 last night, so no.
Mhm.
Same.
Might not be
Okay.
worth it at that point.
No, not really.
I love space stuff. I love seeing lunar eclipses, but I don't love it that much.
Yeah.
Feels like there's an eclipse or some other phenomenon going on like every other month anyway. Or maybe I just hear about them, so I'm like, I'll just be out for the next one. It's okay.
It happens more often than you think. It's just you're not always located in a place you can see it.
Yeah.
That is true.
Sometimes they occur like, and you have to be in the middle of the ocean to be able to see it.
Yeah.
You have to
Because
be
I
on a
think
cruise
they-
ship.
I think they said the next
Well,
one's like in
that's a treat for
2022 or 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a treat for those who are happen to be on a cruise and go by and they're near the equator or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So next time there's a celestial event and it can only be seen from a cruise ship and anyone wants to send us on a cruise, please email us.
Oh, yes.
Right.
My passport's ready to go.
Mhm.
That would be like hilarious. Like someone asked, "So why are you in this cruise? To see an eclipse? That's not weird at all, is it?"
Hey, you know what? That would be a good selling point for
People actually the big solar eclipse that we had last August?
Oh,
or 2
Uh,
Augusts ago because that was when
yeah,
Alex was born.
Yeah, however long ago it was, the last big one, that like the entire country could see it. There were I don't know if they were necessarily it was a cruise specifically for that. It just happened to be it, but there were
Mhm.
people on a cruise ship and they got Bonnie Tyler to come sing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I
I remember that.
seeing that.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
So that's a thing. So if anybody wants to do that, can you tell I'm desperate to get out of the cold? It's mid-January and I'm already ready to just like throw stuff in a suitcase and hightail it out of here and not come back till summer.
Mhm.
I am Olaf.
at least
At least you won't melt.
That's true. My husband will, but I won't. I hate the cold with a passion.
Mhm.
Anyway, enough
Even
about
though
the
we've
weather.
lived with it for most of our life, it's a pastime to complain.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's a safe thing to complain about, even because
Exactly.
everybody feels more or less the same way.
Mhm.
Any hoozles, let's get on with Zen news before we do anything else. So, I got stuff out of order. Oh, no, that's okay. Anyway, first up, some 10 o'clock news. Acting really Broadway
Mhm.
theater legend Carol Channing passed away last week at the age of 97,
Wow.
which is a nice, long,
Yes.
very fulfilling life. I mean,
Yes.
she has been, she's a Tony Award winner. She's, been nominated for Oscars and Golden Globes. And, she was one of those, what they call them, triple threats: sing, dance, and act.
Yep.
So, yeah, she's just she had her debut in 1948 on Broadway.
Wow.
Yep. So, and I mean, she's been in so many productions: Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Pygmalion. Her probably most well known is her as the as so aptly named Dolly in Hello, Dolly.
Mhm.
So the article I've got says that let's see, she won the Tony for Hello, Dolly in 1964. She played the role in over 5,000 performances without missing a single one.
Holy
That is
cow.
crazy.
That's
Yep.
talk about an attendance record to be beaten.
Yes.
I know, and like never
I-
getting sick or having a sore throat or a
We're
A
talking
stub toe or
oh yeah,
We're talking athlete there.
right. I mean,
Yeah. She also did a lot on TV. On because of the era that she was part of. She was on a lot of things like What's My Line, Password, Hollywood Squares, obviously variety shows, Dean Martin Show, The Red Skeleton Show, Laugh-In, The Carol Burnett Show, The Muppet Show. Because you really made it big when you get on The Muppet Show.
oh right, yeah.
And then the TV movie Alice Through the Looking Glass. That is something to watch. They released it on DVD a few years back, but I can remember it came out during a Christmas, and yes, I'm dating myself. My dad had taped it for me off TV on the beta, and I can remember watching it. I mean, it had her, Sammy Davis Jr., Ringo Starr, Edie Gourmet and her partner. So it was really well done.
Yep. Let's see here. So let's see. 2009. Some of her personal items were inducted into the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., including her dress from Broadway production worn while singing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, her Hello, Dolly gown from the 95 tour, her Tony Award for her portrayal as Dolly, and those are in the American History Museum. Her 1995 Lifetime Achievement Tony Award is on exhibit at the Hollywood Museum. It's just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, located in front of the Pantages Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. So 97. Her resume is long and full. So, and I know that there's a current production of Hello, Dolly that I know they were going to have a moment of silence from her. And usually on actual Broadway in New York City, they usually dim the lights on Broadway if somebody like that passes too. So
a friend of mine videoed that when they did that for her.
Yeah. So.
Well, that is, I mean, definitely a life to be celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So. All right, moving on to some movie news. We got a trailer, actually 2 trailers. Because there's the domestic trailer and then the international trailer, which are slightly different. They have different vibes to them. So if you want to watch both, you can. I mean, if you want to limit yourself to how much you see, probably just watch the domestic one. But either way, we have a couple of trailers for Spider-Man Far From Home, which will be the first Marvel movie to be released after Endgame. After we hope the snapping gets fixed.
Yeah.
Well, assuming.
Somehow. Well, yes. Considering the people that appear in the trailer, although only 2 of the people that appear in the trailer, we actually know exactly what happened to them in Infinity War. We don't know the fate of everybody else. So we don't know if all those other people got fixed or if they were people that got left behind.
Sure, we're in the timeline this movie is taking place.
Yeah,
Yes.
this could have been.
This is after Endgame. They have said that this picks up almost right after Endgame.
Okay.
So they're okay with spoiling. I mean, okay, yeah, I'm sure that they were all going to be back, but it's kind of the principle of the thing.
It's not really spoiling anything because we know they're going to fix it, and we know most everybody is going to come back. It's just we don't know how yet.
Okay.
So, and it
to be fair, didn't they announce the Spider-Man movie long before?
Well, yeah,
they announced it.
We knew Spider-Man was getting another movie before the Infinity War ever happened. So.
Yeah, before the snapping.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be that big of a surprise, I would hope. So, but it does look. It's weird though, because if you watch the Far From Home trailer, and if you didn't know about Infinity War, then you'd have no idea that something that cataclysmic had happened in between Homecoming and this Spider-Man movie. It just seems like it picks up like it's another school year for Peter Parker. They're going to go on a field trip to Europe. And crazy things are going to happen. And look, here's a guy wearing a bubble on his head. Yeah.
It's just I also feel like this one's going to be like, let's decompress after Endgame because
it's gonna be like Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah.
Have that feel to it.
Yeah. Which I think we'll need it actually. So.
Yeah, I am.
So.
And it was nice to see Happy.
Yes, it's always nice to see. I love I love the vibe of the domestic trailer because it's like Aunt May, because it's like when we got we saw at the very end of Homecoming, Aunt May walking in to Peter's bedroom. He's got the suit partially on, and we just get the what the, and it stops. And we have no idea. We haven't seen Aunt May since, so we have no idea. And it's like, here it is. It's like Aunt May. Okay, she knows Peter's Spider-Man. Oh, and she's totally down with it too.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how quick Tony or Happy came to sit down and explain the situation to her.
Maybe.
Hopefully quickly.
Hopefully. But just Aunt May, she's the cool aunt. She's the aunt I strive to be.
I could just see Peter's panicked call. Mr. Stark, Happy, my aunt's going crazy.
Yeah.
Help! I did a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think I broke my aunt?
Yeah. She's like, okay, we're gonna need more pot stickers for this.
Yes.
Like, oh my.
Quick
Pot
order,
sticker-
double order sticky rice.
Yeah, pot stickers or shawarma.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
I rather the pot stickers. But
Yeah.
again, I never had shawarma, so I can't say.
No,
Yeah,
me neither.
I know the pot stickers would be good. We should try shawarma sometime, I guess.
Yeah.
Still haven't.
Go to Disney World, we can all have shawarma at a
There
pack.
we go.
There we go.
Again, if anyone wants to send us to Florida.
Mhm.
You'll pose like the Avengers while eating it.
I'd be okay with that.
So, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun, which I think is exactly what we're going to need
Yeah.
post Endgame. So,
Yeah.
it's also a little bittersweet too, because as far as we know, that will be Stan Lee's last cameo.
Mhm.
That's the last
Oh.
one that we know for sure they got to film before he passed. So, which, I mean, if he's going to have a last cameo, it might as well be in a Spider-Man movie, one of his greatest creations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, there's the domestic trailer, there's the international trailer. They are different vibes and some different clips. So if you want to watch both, go ahead. If you want to keep it maybe a bit less spoilery, probably stick with the domestic trailer, because I think that the international trailer gives away just a bit more of the plot. I think just a little. And there's Jake Gyllenhaal with a bubble on his head. So.
Mhm. Yeah, kind of looking like he raided Doctor Strange's
A
wardrobe.
little bit.
I know.
Little
At
bit.
first, when I saw him, I was like, okay, is this because he had like green magic sort of thing, and I don't know. I don't know my comic book villains or anything beyond what's in the movies and what's really popular. But I'm like, is this supposed to be the Green Goblin? And then Jared had to explain to me, no, this is. Now I can't remember the name.
I actually thought the same thing though.
Okay,
Of
I'm
course.
glad I wasn't the only one. Because I was like, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. I was just gonna call him Bubble Man.
Yeah.
Bubble Man.
'Cause
I like
that's way
that.
more fun.
Yeah.
Bubble Head Man.
I'm gonna laugh if like that's similar to what the actual they call him. I don't know.
It's not.
I know, but it's funny.
It's right there on the tip of my tongue, and I can't. I know what his actual character
It's like
name
I
is.
want to say like Mysterio, but I'm not
Oh wait,
sure
no,
if
I
that's
think that's right. I think
Is
I remember
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
I kept thinking Mysterio. I'm like, no, that's from the Return of Doctor Mysterio.
That's
That's
because
something.
that was my thing, because I know that there's a Doctor Who connection here somehow.
Yeah. Yes, him.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well, there we
reading
go.
comic books.
I was
Yeah.
remembering it correctly. I just was like,
Thank you, Doctor Who.
Yes.
remember a thing.
Speaking of Doctor Who,
Mhm.
nice segue there. For those in the UK, I really hope this gets popular so it'll come to the US.
Yes.
Because it looks really cool, the video that they put up on the Doctor Who YouTube channel. There is now a Doctor Who themed escape room. So it is.
If anybody would want to fund our trip over to the UK to participate in this escape room,
Or if you
we
live in the
gladly take
UK and want to invite us over to visit and crash
Yeah.
on your couch or whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
get a couch, some blow up mattresses.
Mhm.
We'll figure it out.
We'd gladly be your plus ones to help you through this
Yeah.
escape room.
Yeah, here they can be tricky.
Yeah. So the description from the website is as such. The Doctor needs you. A tear in space and time has been detected and the Cybermen are about to break through. Step into the future, enter the offices of Kronos Corp HQ, where the eccentric billionaire Alistair Montague's efforts to develop commercial time travel have caused a tear in the fabric of space and time. The Cybermen are ready to take advantage and attack Earth. You, the Doctor's friends, must investigate the incident. The remains of Montague, his prototype time engine, and the extensive collection of time-related artifacts acquired over the course of its experiments are all you have to work with. In just 60 minutes, the Cybermen will break through. The fate of the universe is in your hands. Take too long, and the human race will be upgraded.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I mean,
Doctor Who,
Dun, dun.
Worlds Collide. So, tickets now available in Bristol, Leeds, Oxford, Manchester, Reading, and Birmingham. Or Birmingham.
I'm not gonna lie, even though I knew it wasn't possible, when I saw Reading, I got a little excited because there's a Reading, Pennsylvania. Like, ooh, wait, that wouldn't make any sense, right? To have all these UK cities and then the Pennsylvania state.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the eastern seaboard, there's a lot of towns that are named after places in Britain.
Yeah, a
Yes.
lot of towns, a lot of counties, and a lot of states too. Got it. New Jersey, New York, New Hampshire.
Yep.
So you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the only way that they'd be able to make the colonies, is if they said, yes, we'll name this and this over there. Yeah.
We're gonna name our town after you, oh great Lord, whatever
Yes.
Yep.
you are. And there is your history lesson for the day.
Yes.
Never let it be said we never taught you nothing.
Yep. History 101 with Fiveish Fangirls.
It's our side gig.
Yep.
Yep.
I've never done a proper escape room. I've always wanted to do one, and the fact that there's a Doctor Who one, and it's so far away. I'm like, not fair.
I'll be honest. I didn't really know. I mean, I'd heard of them, but I couldn't really picture what they were until I saw this season of Fuller House.
Yes.
And there's an episode where they DJ and Steve and Matt and Matt's new girlfriend, spoilers,
Yes.
they all go on a double date to an escape room, and it's quite funny. And but you know, the concept of it, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, that actually looks fun.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go one, but like I could either never convince my friends, or we just couldn't get like scheduling. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an issue.
From what I understand, if you're going to do it with friends, do it with people you trust.
yeah.
And people that you're not necessarily going to get mad at each other if somebody screws up.
Yeah, I can see where that would go. But that would could go awry.
But no, it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, Doctor Who, just anything Doctor Who, obviously. But you know, an escape room, I'm like, oh yes, why is that so far away? So if we have any listeners in the UK that do get to do this and want to tell us about it, you know, let us know. Send us feedback.
Yeah.
So we can live vicariously through you.
Yes. And you know, like you said, if it gets really popular over there, it might find its way over this direction.
Mm-hmm. I'd be down for that.
Me too.
All right, that is it for
Hopefully outside of the Beltway might like come this way in the country too, because you know there's people over here that live over here too.
Maybe a good traveling thing for, you know, like major events like comic conventions, you know. You know, like Gen Con or Salt Lake Fan X or something like that, you know.
Yeah, totally would.
Just saying. Dear BBC.
Yes.
Let's figure out your travel itinerary. You know, there is parts of the United States outside of New York and California.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
And Chicago.
Yeah.
And Chicago, yes. We exist.
I know I can
Come
get
on.
to Chicago easily enough. I just don't like traveling to or through Chicago.
Yes.
Same with me in New York.
Agree
don't
wholeheartedly.
blame
Anyway, that's it for news. I've got a little bit of feedback from Shalane talking about looking actually more towards things coming in the future, as opposed to looking back to 2018 like we did last week. She said she heard that there's going to be another Narnia movie, that Sony's going to be doing it. I don't know about that. I thought Netflix or Amazon. I thought it was one of those companies.
Let's see.
That was doing it.
Okay, I have
it's
to
hard to
remember
keep
because,
track.
well, and they announced them like right at the same time that they announced either Netflix or Amazon doing a Wheel of Time series. So I'm like, okay, one's doing the other, and it's a TV series, and I can't remember which one. Let's see, Narnia. I'm just gonna do a quick search.
To the Googles.
Yes, Netflix. Is that right?
I think
Okay, yeah,
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is doing it. That was last October that they announced that.
Okay.
I'm looking at Wheel of Time to think. Okay, so that one is Amazon.
Okay.
I will not guarantee that I won't remember later.
Yeah.
But for now, I know.
Well, Narnia, Netflix.
Oh yeah, that would okay. Narnia is doing Netflix is doing Narnia and Amazon Time. Okay.
Yep. And then she also asks, have we seen the trailer for the new Men in Black with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson? I did see the trailer when it dropped, and just on initial, just based on the trailer alone, it doesn't look like I'm going to hate it.
That's helpful.
So
I'm going to tell the truth. I've seen the articles and I've seen the video, but I haven't actually watched it, and I don't know why, because I like those actors and I like the Men in Black. Well, most of the Men in Black movies.
Yeah,
but
I've actually only seen the first two. I've never seen the third.
I'm the same way. I haven't seen the third, although I heard the third was pretty decent. But I've heard from just a lot of people, just in general, is like we're kind of getting to the point where people are really tired of rebooting everything. Well, so I wonder if the bubble is about to pop.
It might be. It might be. I mean, it's not necessarily a reboot. I guess that depends on what your definition of a reboot is, because this is more of a continuation of the series, because it's Men in Black International. It's essentially another branch of the MIB that we're going to watch go on an adventure with, as opposed to just the branch that Will Smith's character was part of.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's not like they have implied that there's other branches.
Yeah. So this could actually, this opens up the franchise to a whole bunch of others.
And it could be like, the new Jumanji movie, and we're like, oh, that actually was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't expect it to be. So I don't know. I'm not going to rush out and watch it or go see it the first weekend it's out, but I'm willing to be surprised.
Yeah, it was like one of those ooh, if I had the time and I was out and about, maybe I'd see it, but I'm not going to rush out to see it.
Yeah. But it doesn't look terrible, and I try not to pass judgment too much based on trailers alone, because you just never know. Like, speaking of Chris Hemsworth, I just watched the 2016 Ghostbusters last week, and I didn't hate it. I actually enjoyed it. So, as much as people were sure that it was going to suck, and some people thought it sucked, I didn't hate it. So, you'd be surprised.
I've been thinking of watching, I have it free. I got it through, this promotion. I don't even, because I think I connected movies to the movie Anywhere thing. Yeah. I got it free. I just haven't sat down and watched it.
You should sit down and watch it. I mean, I genuinely laughed a couple of times, several times. So, I mean, there's probably about 2 or 3 too many cameos. They are really let's shove as many cameos in there as possible, because then it seems like they're endorsing this movie. But
well, and speaking of the Chris Hemsworth tie-in,
yeah. So.
Hint, hint, hint. Yes.
Yep. But yeah, so we'll see. Like Chrissy said, it's probably it's not one I'm probably going to rush to go see. Opening weekend, but yeah, I'll probably see it eventually.
That'd be one like
Release later.
If I had a cheap theater, like the boys say, I'll go see it at the cheap theater, but I don't have a cheap theater near me.
Yeah. I do, but it's not the best. But that's not anyone else's problem.
That's why they call it cheap theater.
I know, but I've gotten spoiled with the not cheap theaters and the full leather, fully reclining seats.
I haven't been spoiled by that yet.
With a food menu to boot.
Yeah, well, neither of the theaters near me have that, but still.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you get spoiled with the really nice big plush seats that recline. So like you can put your feet up and lean your chair back.
They know that you could, stay home and watch something good on Netflix in your nice, furniture you have at home and the food you can make at home or call in for delivery. So they're like, here, we've got these really big fancy chairs that you can sit in and they're heated seats and you can you have
the nice big screen and the surround sound that I don't have at home. Yeah. First world problems.
Although I will say, last time we went to see a movie, which I'm actually going to talk about in my favorites when we get to it, because I had a $50 gift card from something that happened at work that I got a cool reward for. Anyway, and and so we used that, and after tickets. Actually, the tickets were the cheapest part of the evening. Tickets and food. Food was the thing. We got dinner at the theater, and my gift card's basically gone. I think I have like $1 left. So it is not cheap to go to the theater.
No, it's not. But it's worth it.
Yeah,
it is true.
Sometimes
I'm not going to dispute that.
In some instances. Anyway, thank you, Shalane, for the feedback.
Yes.
She's our number one feedback person.
No,
not that we're keeping count, but yeah, we are.
I do.
Just saying, if anyone wants to take her spot, you're gonna have to start sending in feedback.
Yep. One little quick bit of housekeeping. You've got a couple weeks left for the February book polls on the Goodreads Book Club. We had a 3-way tie.
Oh my goodness. February is a week from Friday. Ow.
Oh gosh.
Hence my reminder. I mean,
my birthday's in 4 weeks. I'm trying not to think about it.
But if I could get a couple more votes, would be nice.
I'll go vote, even if I have no intention on reading anything.
Just
break the tie.
For me, it's a question of, can I get it at the library?
Right. That's it. I mean, as long as I get some input, because I know you ladies will read them down the line. I'm just
yes.
Yes.
I'll read it eventually.
Yes.
I may not read it right now.
Right.
When it's actually the book of the month.
Every month, maybe even like a year or so down, like you see, ooh, new comment on. Wait, we read this last year.
Yeah,
hey, that's fine. That's fine. That's why.
That's why the discussions never close.
Exactly.
Yep.
Or if there are discussions that are closed that you need to get back into, just let me know. I can open them up. But I think pretty much they're open.
Yeah.
365 days a year.
Yep.
I am glad that you put the titles in the comments, because this new interface that
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is it the online interface or is it the app?
No, it's online, the desktop. It's like
The
it just shows the cover, which is nice, except you can't really tell what the title is. And the covers are really small, and they don't really give you an option like, hey, I want to go to this Goodreads page and read the blurb. It's just like, here's the cover. I assume you know it. And it's like, no, I don't. These are new.
Yep. That's why I always make sure to add the titles.
And a book you sometimes has more than one cover. So you might.
This is true. This is true.
I do try to choose the most current cover.
It's like when Doctor Who, when they did the book releases for one book for each Doctor during the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And some of those were re-releases just with the 50th anniversary cover style on it. So.
And you're like, hey, wait, I saw you said this book was on there, but I don't see it. It's, because they have different covers.
Yep.
Well, I always hit the info to double check, because if my thing has page count, I sometimes have to make sure I select the right one.
Yeah.
To keep track. So that is the housekeeping.
Alrighty.
And for those who are wondering, yes, they are all 13th Doctor selections this go around.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of things that we consumed in last year, let us move on. Another light news week, though. Although that will change. Oscar nominations are tomorrow, and PopCon starts announcing guests tomorrow. So
yeah, and FanX is going to have actually, I think they're having a press conference tomorrow to announce a lot more guests. They've announced a few, but they promise to have a lot more to come. So
convention season. Attention.
Indeed.
Although
I know some of the guests actually that are coming to PopCon, but I can't say anything.
I was about to ask you. No, you just have to keep your mouth shut for a little bit.
I gotta keep my mouth shut.
Hey, you know what? We get it. So you're good.
I'm just saying that my wallet is gonna be hurt again this year. So. Thank you, Carl.
I'm excited. I have no idea. Like,
I'll tell you later. Wink, wink. I mean, after. I won't tell you later. Wink, wink.
She will after we've already heard it.
This doesn't work on audio. Anyway.
Oh my.
2018, what a year it was, which we covered, we discussed quite a bit. I say a bit. It's our entire show last week. We discussed quite a bit last week, but that was really just touching upon the news and notables and the ups and the downs and the celebrity deaths and all that. So we wanted to keep with looking to last year, but try and highlight some of the really good stuff by talking about the things that really tripped our trigger. And looking back at 2018, you're like, that was a good thing I watched, or that was a good thing I read, or that's a good thing I did. In my case, because I did a lot. I put a lot of miles on my suitcase last year.
Me too, but I'm not really fandom geeky related, so I don't know if those count.
I tried to fit it in where I could. So, favorites of 2018. Anybody want to go first? Anything you're just like, I need to talk about this thing first?
Well, I did make a list of things. Now to be clear, these are things that didn't necessarily come out in 2018. Right. I mean, some of mine did, but maybe something that we discovered or was a big part of our fandom stuff in 2018. So it could have come out before then when it was, something that we found out about or really delved into. So so some of these are a little older, which some of mine are. Don't freak out.
Sometimes we just discover things a little late.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You hear the concept of a to be read list. I mean, just because there's a book that came out a few years ago, I am just now getting to it. So okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to decide which one to pick. Well, here I'll do one with after that whole disclaimer. I actually do have one that came out last year that I really 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 enjoyed. And it also, well, I'll get to it. So Power Rangers last year had their big 25th anniversary celebration across the franchise. And one of the things that was part of the celebration was the comics series Shattered Grid. And yeah, I will actually, I think I'll get into the show notes and put up the, so we make sure we have a link to the trailer that they got Jason David Frank to come back and play Evil Tommy or Lord Draken for as this for marketing for the and that's what got my attention for it. I'm like, ooh, I want to read this. But then that also spun off into, oh right, they have Power Rangers comics. I want to check these out, and I got a bunch of them on download, and really I'm like, wow, these are really good. I mean, a few years ago they had that that live action movie that we all pretty much enjoyed. It was very different from the original, but still kind of had the spirit of it. But this is the original, and it also gives the characters a little bit more backstory, a little bit more personality. And then you get into Shattered Grid, and then they bring in other Rangers from other dimensions and planets and timelines, and this is like throwing everything at you, everything in the kitchen sink. And basically the idea is what if, because Tommy originally was recruited by Rita Repulsa to be her evil Green Ranger, and then he turned good and became the leader and one of the best Rangers they've ever had. But then this is like, well, what would happen to him if he stayed evil and just became this evil overlord that wanted to take all the Power Rangers power that ever lived, and he builds this big Power Ranger army, which I love kind of his foot soldiers. They're all Red Ranger Guard and the Yellow Ranger Guard, and then Kimberly has an interesting the Pink Ranger has an interesting story arc, which I think is still going on, even though the Shattered Grid arc itself has ended. But there's still some mopping up to do that they've been working on the last little bit in the series. So yeah, if you haven't gotten a chance to, if you were ever a Power Rangers fan at any time, especially of the original, and you haven't gotten a chance to read Shattered Grid, I highly, highly recommend it, because holy cow. And even when the Goodreads Reader's Choice or their best their award thing at the end of 2018 came around, and I saw on Graphic Novels that Shattered Grid was not nominated. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be, but I went ahead and wrote it in because all the things they picked were kind of dumb. And I'm just like, people, you missed out. And no, it didn't get my write-in campaign, such as it was, didn't work. But hey, I voted my conscience. So yeah, so I'll and you can get them digitally. So if you have a tablet or whatever, it's or however you can find them. And I'm kind of hoping that our library will get the big omnibus book that has all of them, because I really want to see that. I don't know if I want to buy it. I might, but it's just looks really cool. So anyway, so that was one of mine.
And I've got one kind of follows along your line with comic books. End of December, I had found out that Labyrinth had a comic book series called Coronation, which kind of delves into the backstory with Jareth. And they've put out 8 or 9 issues right now out of 12, and it is very good. It kind of it rotates, and it's almost a little bit of different retelling to the main Labyrinth story, and we get more Jareth's backstory as to how he became ruler of the Labyrinth.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just like, ooh, it's really, I mean, it's keeping me guessing as to, how it's all gonna play out in the end.
How do we get the end game to what we know in the movie?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know, when you watch the movie, you're like, come on, I want to know more about this guy, and
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be more to it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that just because we want more David Bowie.
Exactly. Yep.
And even if it is in comic form, like, sure.
Exactly. Yes.
Yep. Nice. Very nice. I don't really have anything comic-wise. Honestly, one of my favorite things from 2018, it actually came out in 2018, although I do have some things that are not released from last year.
Same here.
But one of my favorite things from 2018 was actually one of my absolute favorite movies of last year. And there was all the really, really good movies that came out last year. But one of my absolute favorites was the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Oh, cool.
Oh, right.
Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yes.
It was
That was
so
last year.
I forgot about that. Yes.
So good. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like, I'm such a huge, Marvel and Star Wars and Disney fan. You'd think that, like, my answer right away would be like Infinity War, Ant-Man the Wasp, or Incredibles 2. I mean, those were all really good, but no, this quiet, not super wide release documentary about Mr. Rogers that I just loved. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of it is sentimentality.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody that grew up on Mr. Rogers, but even just beyond the sentimentality, it's just a really good documentary.
Yep.
So it was just done really, really well. So.
We started watching just Mr. Rogers because they have some episodes on Amazon Prime, and there's a bunch on YouTube as well. Just for something for Alex to watch, and that isn't Baby Shark. No,
Yes.
by the way, that I've forbidden that ever.
Twitch.
Twitch, yes. And he really enjoys it. He I think he actually enjoys the Mr. Rogers segments more than the Neighborhood of Make Believe, which is all the fun characters and the puppets and the things. And like when we sat down to watch the documentary finally, because we got the DVD from the library, and I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, this is a really good documentary. This is like stuff I already knew though, because I felt like, well, no, I didn't already know all of it, but I felt like watching the show was all kind of more in the forefront of my mind, so I didn't get so much nostalgia from it, even though Mr. Rogers is. I only recently started rewatching it because I have a little boy, a little kid here in my that he wants to watch things, and I want him to watch good wholesome things that aren't terrible. But it's like I kind of am reliving my childhood, and I'm actually watching the show to do it. And I was like, that was a lot of fun, and it was kind of precipitated because I knew this documentary was out, and Jared, he used to watch it all the time too, and it was actually his idea, like, oh, let's find some Mr. Rogers, because one can only watch so much Elmo.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
he loves it, and the cutest thing was when my mom came up to babysit him for a couple of days because she wanted to, and I said, well, he likes to watch Mr. Rogers. And at the end, when Mr. Rogers is singing his song, the goodbye song, and he has that line, "Make it a snappy new day," and he snaps his fingers, Alex has been trying to snap his fingers, and my mom was like, you gotta. It's like, And we dressed Alex up for as Mr. Rogers for Halloween, and my mom said, "Make him snap his fingers. That's the cutest." I have yet to get it on video, and I've been trying.
Oh.
But yeah, so kind of going along those lines. I didn't mean to hijack your
No,
thing
you're
here,
fine.
Rachel. But yeah, that's kind of like I'm getting back into it. And I'm like, I need to find more Mr. Rogers. And there is a DVD collection of various episodes, but not all of them. And I'm like, they got to be all somewhere. And even Amazon Prime has a few, but not all of them.
Well, there's just so many of them.
Oh well, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, how many seasons did that run for, and how many episodes? I mean, there was five per week.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. And it was on for a very long time.
I know.
Yeah, quite a few generations. Like when you think about it, like.
I know. We started it. We went back around the loop when we finished watching the ones on Amazon, and you get used to seeing him age, and then you go back to when he's really young, and you're like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely one of my highlights of 2018 was that documentary. So such warm fuzzies. It makes you cry too, but it's mostly warm fuzzies. So. Yeah, a lot of that stuff I knew already too, but there was some stuff I'm like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never like heard his wife or his kid or sons talk about him on camera or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a cool thing.
Yep. Oh, good old Mr. Rogers.
He was just sort of this unassuming man that just did a lot for people and kids and kids especially.
Mm-hmm. Who's next? Brittany, I don't think you've done anything yet.
What do I want to talk about? How about one of my favorites from 2018 is the mobile game Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Check that
I've
out.
been enjoying that, and I'm loving the story and the obvious mystery to it.
Yes.
And
Although I finished another chapter the other night. Now I'm waiting for them to update the game, but the end of the chapter included a plot twist. I'm like, what?
I forgot which one, but I got to a plot twist before, and I was like, and I was caught up. I was like, no, this is as evil as some of the cliffhangers in the shows I watch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, now you're gonna make me wait till the game updates. How
And
dare
it's
you?
really. Sometimes it's not set when it. At least for me, it's not. I don't know. But
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a first world problems issue, but still, it's like, but yeah, it's a fun game. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but it's a bit frustrating if you're on a roll and you're accomplishing a bunch of stuff, and then it's like, updates will be coming soon, and you're like, but I need more story.
Mm-hmm.
And
So get on that update for you, huh?
And how soon is soon?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that too. So, although they have done some just in general updates, because like we get to these points where we're stuck waiting for plot update and things to do. So, but then we'll get like little mini challenges. Like little side quests where we get to do something a little different. And then occasionally it's just challenges where it's like, earn points, and, if your house is at the top at the end, you'll win this prize. And it's usually something like, clothing item or something, which is what we're in the middle of right now. So really you just have to go to classes and complete the classes to get the stars, and then those add up and, towards your team's total. And thankfully recently they've done a class update, so if you're going to the same class over and over again, you're not doing the same thing over and over again. Like if you did charms class, you're always doing Lumos no matter what.
It was supposed to make sure we knew how to make lights. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, I love you, Professor Flitwick, but I think I've got the Lumos thing down. So now we're like, it's Lumos, Wingardium Leviosa, and some other charms. So
I can do Lumos in my sleep and it wakes me up.
Yeah. Again, first world problems, but
I love like the little like hints and like foreshadows of like what we know from the Harry Potter stories.
Yes.
They kind of get dropped.
Yeah. Like the whole thing with Scabbers.
Yes.
This whole side plot of trying to like your character, your main character is like, convinced that there's something off with Scabbers, and like Percy's like, no, he's just a rat in your head.
Yeah, I was like,
you've
as
got
soon
no
as I
idea.
realized Percy was gonna show up, I'm like, ooh, that means Scabbers, because he had Scabbers. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we like just take him? Like, we know what that. No, we know.
To paraphrase Game of Thrones, Percy Granger, you know nothing.
Yeah, really.
Or Weasley, I'm sorry.
Percy
Weasley,
you know nothing, Percy Weasley.
Weasley.
Especially about your pet rat.
Yes.
Right. You're going to be in for a shock in about 5-ish years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still fun. I do thoroughly enjoy if I just need to just do classes to just to burn through to earn points or whatever. I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I really like going to potions class so that when Professor Snape asks us to do something and I do it correctly and he gets that pissed off look on his face.
I love that. Like he looks so mad.
Like, how dare you do something right in my class?
Now I have to praise you and can't do
But
that.
Rachel, he shouldn't mind because aren't you in Slytherin house anyway?
I know, but that almost makes it even funnier. It's like, how dare you get something right in my class and earn points for the house that I'm head of? Like, I'm so sorry for being a model student for your house, Professor Snape.
It's so funny.
Come on, headmaster. I thought you'd be happy.
Oh my.
I don't know how he is
Easily
with you,
amused.
but like in the story, he's so like snippy with me.
Yeah. He's snippy with everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. I'm a Slytherin and he's snippy with everybody. So
He's equal opportunity.
yeah. I think it's because Draco's not part at Hogwarts yet. So
Yeah, true.
Don't have
no one
somebody
plays
there
favorites
to
with.
Yeah. There's somebody there to butter him up.
Yep. Oh my. So yes, I definitely concur with Hogwarts Mystery.
Yes.
And I get because I'm horrible at making names for my characters, so I usually just end up making my own name. So my last name being Granger, it's just hilarious, saying Miss Granger. I'm like, you guys are going to be saying that a lot again in a few years.
Yeah.
And we're not related.
Yes. Very, very distant relation.
It's like, yes, this Miss Granger will go to the library. Thank you very much.
That's what we're gonna do.
Oh my. Like tears in my eyes thinking about ticking off Professor Snape because I did something right. I don't know why that amuses me so much, but it does. I'm just easily amused.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now we're back around.
Let's see. Well, I have. I alluded to this earlier. I guess a couple movies that. Well, we didn't go to a lot of movies this year, but a few that we did go to in the theater, we did go see Once Upon a Deadpool. That was one we spent the gift card on because it was like, hey, we finally got out to go to a movie. Holy crap. And yeah, I mean, I loved it. We loved it. We laughed so hard, and it was so good. And the Fred Savage intercuts with it were just, they were perfect.
Yeah.
And I loved how how they had some of them online before the movie came out or before it came out. And the whole Nickelback thing, that was hilarious because I actually don't mind Nickelback so much. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of bands that are kind of the same as they are. Why do they get singled out for, hatred and whatever? But I don't know. I don't understand music people at all. I just know what I like.
Not gonna lie, I'm actually not a huge fan, but I'm a fan of Nickelback, honestly.
I'm like, yeah, I've got some of their music on my.
We need to have a discussion with your guys' music choices.
I have a really strange, like, if you see my
I know. I mean, I'm not like their biggest fan. I'm not gonna run out and go to their concerts, but I don't mind them. I'm like, there are other bands that are just that do the same thing they do, and it's like, why not pick on them too? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. What were you saying, Brittany?
I'm just saying, like, my music choice, my music collection, it's like, I don't know. Don't judge. I can't explain my music.
Yeah.
Like, it has a little bit of everything, pretty much.
Yeah, mine's eclectic. It goes from soft rock, kind of like Gordon Lightfoot, Air Supply, all the way to the hard rock stuff. So yeah.
I'm going to see Metallica in a couple months. So
yeah. Well, you're looking forward to.
This year, I've got tickets to go see Metallica and Weird Al in a span of like the same 6 months. So I won't judge to a point.
Yes.
I have Metallica and Weird Al in my music collection too. Does it make sense?
I did like. In fact, I think I liked Once Upon a Deadpool more than I liked the first cut of the second Deadpool movie. Mm-hmm. I think it paced better.
I've heard that. Like, I didn't make it to see the first one or anything like that, but it just, I don't know. And maybe it was just because that we're like, finally we made it to a movie out, in the theater, and we haven't done this in a long time. So I'm like, I'm going to enjoy every bit of this. But yeah, it was really fun. It was enjoyable. And, they poked fun at themselves, and there was like a blink and you miss it, Stanley tribute, because this was after he passed away when it came out. And so I wonder if that's where his cameo was in the original cut. And
no.
Okay, it wasn't.
No,
I don't know.
His actual cameo in the original cut is a blink and you miss it.
Okay. Well, because I was like, oh, I said something like, oh, it's Stanley, and Jared was like, where? Like, he totally missed it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like on the wall, there's a picture of him like graffitied, and it said R.I.P. And I was like, oh, I'm sad now. But then it got funny again, and then I was laughing. But no, it was a really fun one. It was one I'm glad that we didn't miss. I know I won't. I was going to say something else, but it's not important. This was about a family member disapproving of us going to that movie. And I'm like, why? It was edited. Anyway, a couple of other. Oh, we did go also see the My Hero Academia movie in theaters, because we were like, that's only going to be there for a week or so. We got to go see it because we really got into that anime, and I'll go on to that one. And we also saw Infinity War in theaters, and I think that was all of our movies that we saw in theaters this year. Oh, I'm just,
if you're gonna see, if you were not gonna see anything else that came out, in the movie theater last year, Infinity War, I think, was definitely one of them. It definitely deserves being seen on a big screen. So
yeah, I mean, we've got access to the rest on like iTunes and stuff, and we're like, okay, we're gonna watch them. It's hard to get out with a toddler, and we both work, and our schedules are crazy. But I'm just like, look, these are the movies we went and saw, and you should be proud of us.
Yes, we're very proud.
They are good movies and really entertaining and very nice. And then And then I guess when we go back around, I'll talk about the movies that we saw at home, not in theaters, but that we still loved. But anyway, but yeah, but I will say this, especially with My Hero Academia, like that anime is everywhere, and I know a lot of people, a lot of the kids especially are like going nuts over it, and I'm like, you know what, don't discount it just because it's something, it's new and super popular, and a lot of little teen kids are wearing the sweatshirts and stuff. It's actually a really good story, and the characters are really awesome. So if you're into anime at all or have any kind of interest in it, it's superhero high school, and it's this kid who doesn't have powers is granted them by like his idol. Basically, this is the superhero that he's idolized since he was a little kid and always wanted to be just like him. And so and then you meet all his classmates, and they're all, for the most part, really good, fun, interesting characters, and they're all good, like good people. There's one that I think needs a kick in the head every once in a while, but I think everyone would agree with me. But yeah, so anyway, so it's a fun anime. So if you like anime at all, it's on Hulu and probably a couple other places that you can find. But that one's ongoing still, and that was another thing we watched this year and saw the movie in the theater.
One thing that I enjoyed that was part animated, part live action was the Scooby-Doo meets Supernatural episode called Scooby Natural. And it's standalone, so you can pick it up and watch it, and you really won't be spoiled at all with what's happened in Supernatural. I mean, they were able to they had the original voice actors from Scooby-Doo, or the most current ones, to do the voices of the characters. I mean, it was just awesome. And a little drag race between the Mystery Mobile and Baby the Impala to get to the crime scene. And they actually kind of did a redo of one of the Scooby-Doo episodes. So it kind of followed a plot of one of the Scooby-Doo mysteries. So it was really enjoyable. And humor abounded.
It should be interesting. I haven't seen it yet, but it's good to know that you can watch it even if you're not
caught up. Yeah, this one you can't.
Not
no
caught
worries.
up, because I'm gonna be dead before I think I ever get caught up on Supernatural.
Same. Like I keep trying, and like I get bothered every time, and then I stop for a long time.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how that actually works, considering with Scooby-Doo, they always think it's something supernatural, ghosts and stuff, and it never is. But in Supernatural, like, ghosts and stuff actually do exist. So
yeah,
they kind of explain it a little bit, but that episode just goes by real fast, and it's well done.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I really like about like Supernatural, like they do have those one-offs sometimes that you can watch and not be fully caught up, and you can still enjoy that episode.
Which is good for us slowpokes.
And this is one of them.
Because I'm too busy binging other things.
Yes.
Speaking of which, one of those things that I really enjoyed in 2018 and spent a lot of time binging, and still am because I'm not finished yet, and it's one of those things that's not new in 2018, was I'm still working on binging The West Wing.
Cool. Nice.
I started it last fall, and I got absolutely hooked, and that spilled into the West Wing Weekly podcast, which I still listen to religiously. And although I'm a bit sad now because I'm caught up on the podcast, so I have to wait every week for a new episode now. Like, what do you mean I have to wait till Tuesday before I get another one? I need my West Wing Weekly now.
I would say you would have to go into that old commercial for money. I forgot what it was, but like it's kind of sounded like that.
Yeah. I need cash now. I need the West Wing Weekly now. But yeah, no, I absolutely. It's so good. I don't know why I took so long to watch it, but I'm glad I finally got around to it eventually. So I need to finish it before it disappears off of the internet. So, and then the podcast is good too. So, and then the podcast started before 2018 as well. I just happened to stumble across it. So, but those two are kind of hand in hand. So if you're somebody that enjoys, having a podcast to go with whatever it is you're watching, which, I don't do that for most things. Obviously, Doctor Who is an exception. But if you want a really good podcast to go with a show at the same time, West Wing and the West Wing Weekly. So both highly, highly recommended and highlights from 2018.
I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
And there was this movie I watched literally on the last day of the year. It's a think Netflix original called Next Gen. And it's a movie about a girl and like this combat robot trying to like stop this guy's plan to take over the world. It's predictable, but it was really enjoyable, and I really liked the characters and the animation of it. It actually kind of to me felt like a mixture between iRobot and Big Hero 6.
I did love Big Hero 6, so.
What?
I loved Big Hero 6, so.
I think it's a Japanese-based movie because there was a lot of Japanese culture in it. There's like in one scene the girl was eating ramen, but the ramen bowl, like the plastic styrofoam bowl that those come in, was like electronic as well, and it was talking to her.
No. Alrighty then.
Yeah, that sounds like Japan. I say that in the best possible way.
Yes.
Oh, we love Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, Japan.
And the robot can translate different languages, including a dog. And
nice.
And the dog looks like this cute little dog, but has such a foul mouth. It's bleeped out, but it's still hilarious. Yes. And the voice actor is Michael Pena.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I recognize that
Louise! I should just add that to my list because then I can check him off for my MCU.
Yes.
Hey, there you go. You've got that one.
I was just wondering what I could do for him. Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
The plot's pretty predictable. It's something you've seen before, but I enjoyed it.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you just need those comfort things that you know what's going to happen. But it's still entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recommend it. It's on Netflix.
Cool. I do like when things are Netflix.
Yes,
it's my life easy.
Yep. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's stick with the Netflix theme, I guess. Another movie I saw was the Christmas Chronicles, right at the end
Oh
of
yes,
2018.
same here.
Yes.
When I first saw the trailer and saw that it was Kurt Russell playing Santa Claus, I was like, that's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I want. Kurt Russell's playing Santa Claus. You got me. You sold me. And you know, excuse me. Oh, got that on the wrong moment. Sorry, should have muted. But yeah, it's like, it kind of reminded me of, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen to a degree. I mean, it's not like someone brand new taking over Santa Claus, but it's the idea of, everyone has these things like, well, how does Santa Claus do it? How does he get everyone in one night? What are the reindeer? What are this? What are that? And how does this work? And, it puts its own spin on the Santa Claus mythos and and he's he's a different kind of Santa Claus. He's kind of a what's the word? I mean, you think of like, the 70s rock kind of rebel sort of thing. It's kind of like that. Like he's got a red leather coat and he has like there's a musical number in the middle of the movie because Santa Claus goes to jail. That's kind of a trope. No.
And
Think of
little
all.
Steven from Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band is one of his guitar players.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. Think about it. Think of these Christmas movies that are about Santa Claus, and how many times does Santa Claus end up in jail? I mean, Ernest Saves Christmas, the Santa Claus that happens there. I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting.
Yeah. It's just the way you said it was so matter of fact. It's like, Santa Claus goes to jail like he does.
Like he does in all these in a lot of these movies. It happens. Because the cops are like, you're acting weird, you're breaking and entering, and he knows all these things about people. They go to this restaurant because he's trying to find his sleigh and these two kids that have screwed everything up. And he walks in and he's like, he knows, he knows things about the waitress or the greeter at the restaurant or the diner where they go, and she's all like, "Oh wow, you really are Santa Claus." And he starts doing it with other people, and they are less impressed. And so they're kind of on the run, and it's just it's so good. I'm like, this better stay on Netflix because I want to watch it. I mean, I'm sure it will. It's a Netflix original, but I'm like, keep this around because I want to watch it every Christmas. I think I want to.
And the cop duel.
Yes.
One believes and the other's just like, nope.
I meant to watch it at Christmas and I never get around to it. I almost feel like I almost kind of want to watch it even though it's not Christmas anymore.
You can.
Good. Like it feels like Christmas.
It feels like Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't checked
the two.
I got to check Kurt Russell off. So.
That's right.
There you go.
You could either go with Miracle or you could go with Christmas Chronicles.
Yep.
So I mean, and even the two kids that are with them, like they have a really cool story, or a heartwarming Christmassy type of story. Like they at the beginning, it shows them shows like all these home movies of them growing up, and their dad is really into Christmas, and he's a firefighter. So and as they get older, they see all these, they see all their Christmases, and their dad really made it special. But then there's like one Christmas during the year that past year he was in he was killed in the middle of fighting a fire. Doesn't really go into a lot of details, but it's the first Christmas after he's passed away, so the son is kind of getting into trouble, and the daughter she's trying to kind of like, we used to do these Christmas things, it used to be so much fun, what happened? And she catches him doing something very, very not very, very not on the good list, and their poor mom she's trying to make everything work, and working like night shifts at the hospital, and she's on call, and it's it's just kind of a hard time for everybody. So then they have this cool adventure with Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. So it's a fun one. I mean, you want your happy Christmas feel good stuff at Christmas time, and so if you didn't watch it at Christmas, pick it up, watch it again, or it's on Netflix.
Warm
I
fuzzies.
love the elves.
Fuzzies and the elves.
Oh yes. Oh, the elves are so cute.
The elves are wonderful.
And I kind of like how like they went, like she got into like the room, like you saw the letters, and like at the beginning of the movie she started like had like a video letter to him, and her brother came in and like at first was about to tell her that no, Santa doesn't exist, but changed his mind, which I thought was cute. And like I said, no, do you think Santa really is gonna watch what he said? And then like she goes to sees all the videos of all the kids. I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fun to have in your Christmas rotation. So keep it in the back of your mind next Christmas, because oh my gosh, it was so fun. But yeah, like I said, the first time I saw the trailer on on Facebook, I was like, I don't need anything else. We could just be following Santa Claus doing his rounds, and it's Kurt Russell just being Santa Claus, and that's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and at first I didn't realize it was a movie. I thought it was going to be like a season of mini episodes, and oh no, hey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with a name like the Christmas Chronicles, you think, this is gonna be like a. So I don't know. Maybe the title doesn't really do it, but well,
I'm still planning on making like
another one.
Which I honestly don't know how would they do that unless it's maybe like with another set of kids. I don't know.
Probably.
I can't really see that having a sequel.
Yeah, it'd be a hard one.
They'll find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
how
to
many
be fair, that's
did
true.
Santa Claus have, and they weren't all that great.
No. 1 and 2 were good. 3 was iffy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Like I know I've seen the third one, but I don't even remember it.
Third one had Jack Frost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Martin Short played.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to be Santa Claus, and he was like, okay. But anyway, so that was another movie I saw.
Yeah. Well, kind of following along the Rachel's theme, binging something that's been around, and you can also find it on Netflix. The Hawaii Five-0 reboot. I had started it early 2018, stopped, and then I was able to finish it during the summer just in time for the newest season. Very, very good modern remake, and there are some guest appearances, semi-cast from Heroes. a surprise Grunberg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then some other.
Like, where's Waldo?
Yep, exactly. Some Lost alum, if you are into Lost. And then even a cameo. And then Cara Burnett plays the aunt for a little while to one of the main characters. And a quasi-reoccurring character in the form of Jimmy Buffett. playing a retired Vietnam vet who flies a helicopter.
Not very safe helicopter.
No,
helicopter,
it helps bail out Dano and McGarrett. And yes, we do get the Book 'em Dano line quite a bit.
Well, of course.
And there's some quote unquote arguments. Arguments in vehicle. It's fun. Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah, I kind of got on to for me, I think that I started watching it in 2017, so and then kind of got Holly into it.
Yeah, see, tables are reversed. Normally, I'm the one that's turning Brit onto stuff. So payback.
You know, she's just returning the favor.
Yes, and thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
And they have some awesome Halloween-themed episodes.
Speaking of cameos, there's even there's been a few Once Upon a Time.
Oh, that's right, yes. Josh Dallas.
Nice.
And Rebecca Mato guest starred
in it.
Oh, that's right,
yes. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how many people are going to turn down, like your agent, contacts you and says, hey, we've got you get an audition or a script here for the Hawaii Five-O reboot. Like, is that filmed in Hawaii? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you really going to turn down a chance to shoot something in Hawaii?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I can't say that I ever watched the original, and I have no desire to watch the reboot, but I would gladly take an invitation if it meant going someplace warm.
Yep. Well, the nice thing is you really don't need to watch the original to enjoy the reboot, which is nice. Because they do kind of fill in a little bit.
That's the best way to do it.
And they do like have some like winks to the original.
Yes.
Like I know there was like a character that showed up that was this actor played the same character in the original, and they even used some shots as flashbacks. Which I mean, I haven't really seen the original episodes, but
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
So that is it. So if you're tired of the cold and want something this is something to turn on and watch and pretend you're there.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Good midwinter watching.
Yes.
Actually, I think I started it winter 2017. If I remember right. It was.
Whoa, excuse me. Let's see here. All the stuff that's like really in the forefront of my mind is all stuff from like the second half of 2018. Like,
well, I mean,
was
that
there
makes
really
sense.
anything in early 2018 that really stood out? Apparently, I did spend all of the first half of the year just complaining that it was cold. Probably.
Well, you were hibernating. One of the two.
Crying over Infinity War.
Yeah, or is it denial from Infinity Wars? Probably.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we had a short gap there where we were all going Wakanda forever, and then we all went. Oh.
Like, oh, well, that didn't last.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wakanda, not right now.
Like, have you seen like the memes? Was like before you see Infinity War, you're excited Wakanda forever. And then, like, after Infinity War, it's, like, Wakanda Forever, and it's, like, his, like, kind of trying.
Yep.
Or there's the Baby Groot one. Him dancing.
Yeah.
And then after him pouting and dragging along.
If only Groot had finished Infinity War that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the first half of the year is just kind of I've mentally blocked it.
We're kind of all in a
to tamp down the pain.
Yep.
Denial, not just a river in Egypt.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh my. Well, I mean, for me personally, a highlight from 2018 was my big vacation that I took in September. We were off for those couple of weeks because I went on a cruise with Chauncey and his parents. This is our second time doing a family cruise like that together, and we went to Alaska on Disney Cruise Line. So we sailed on the Disney Wonder and spent almost 10 days doing our family equivalent of planes, trains, and automobiles. It was quite the adventure. I'll give you that. Ever tried to get 4 adults with luggage from Indianapolis to Vancouver, Canada? Not easy. Not as easy as you think. It was something. It was, but we got there and we had a blast. I cannot say enough good. This was our Chauncey and I's 3rd Disney cruise. So now we've been on 3 of the 4 existing ships. although they're building 3 more. So got a work cut out for us. But of the 4 existing ships, we've now been on 3 out of the 4. I can never say enough about the Disney Cruise Line and the Disney Company. They're, the level of service, and what you get is worth absolutely every single penny. And this was not a cheap trip at all. But it was absolutely worth every penny. And Alaska is just beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. So, and of course, on the ship, the food, amazing. But the places we stopped, all the ports that we stopped at, some of them we had booked excursions, some of them we just did our own thing, and we had fun regardless. We had great weather for most of it, which we were on the last sailing of the season, because they can't do Alaska all year round, because once it gets too cold, the passages are not safe because of the ice. But we were on the last one of the season, and it was a great time to go. The ship was not that full, and we had great weather for early September. And actually, the pricing, I mean, that's an expensive cruise to begin with. The pricing versus early July, what we were originally looking at, was so much cheaper. And we were still able to, because it was a holiday, so it was Labor Day weekend, we essentially were taking the same amount of time off work, because we were looking at 4th of July. And we ended up moving to that last sailing over Labor Day weekend. It's like we take the same amount of time off work because we still have the holiday there in the middle of it, and we're saving all this money. So it allowed us to do some extra things that we would not have been able to do otherwise. So, but yeah, if you could, whether it's Alaska or any of the itineraries, if you can afford to do a Disney cruise, do it. You will not regret it. I absolutely promise you. So that was definitely a highlight of the year. So much fun. I'm missing all the food and being waited on hand and foot, though. We got home. We're like, what do you mean I got to cook my own meals?
You're just
I can't order room service?
It's like, wait, I don't know. Okay, well, yeah.
Go out to eat? Like, what do you mean I can't get all the appetizers and 5 desserts and it's not going to cost me any extra?
It's like, I want all the food, all the things.
You mean I can't order a Mickey bar at midnight?
I want to go up and watch a movie on the pool deck.
Exactly. I never did that, but I did see a movie in the movie theater though. I saw Christopher Robin on the cruise ship.
Oh, I still need to watch that one. I know. I told you I'm behind.
So good. That'll make you cry too. That's another.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. I've got the tissues ready.
If there's a theme for movies of 2018, at least the ones that I saw, it's Rachel needs a tissue.
Yeah.
I think even Deadpool tried to make me cry.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Let's see. Well, speaking of more movies, because there were a couple more that I did see that were kind of a highlight for me. The ones I saw, so late, like in August, I want to say. Hold on, sorry, I had to move rooms. Okay, sorry, I had to turn it off. In late August, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it's a show that's affiliated with Channel Awesome, which is like Nostalgia Critic and some others over there. but it's top 5, and it's hosted. Well, Walter Benesiak is kind of the main host, but then there's 2 others, Ayanna Wade and Heather Roos. But in August they did a top 5 of the top 5 best Bond movies. Well, top 5 best and top 5 worst. And we were, and I was watching it, and Jared was like, "What is that?" And I was showing it to him, and he's like, "I don't know that I agree with all their picks." And I was like, "I'll be honest, I haven't seen all the Bond movies." And he's like, "I think we need to fix that." So we got on Amazon and found a box set of all the Bond movies for like really cheap. Well, like it was like, there's 24 movies, and it was like $100 for the box set.
Ooh,
that's
cheap.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah, really cheap when you think about it. And so we bought it, and we're like, we're going to do a Bond movie marathon. And this has been, well, okay, maybe marathon isn't quite the word, but we're doing this experiment. And so we're watching, we started watching in like August, September when we got the box set, and been keeping a running tally. We're now into Pierce Brosnan era, which I think we just finished. Tomorrow Never Dies. What was that?
Nice.
Yes. And Jared's been kind of keeping track. He does kind of a running commentary on his Facebook page, and we have our ranking so far. And so far, honestly, The Living Daylights has been our favorite. And and it's been really hard. I gotta admit, it's been really hard to rank them, because I watch one that I really like Living Daylights or GoldenEye or Tomorrow Never Dies or some of the recent ones, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
How are they going to top this? Yep.
Yeah, how are they going to top this? And like Goldfinger was my favorite, just kind of by default, because it was like the one of 2 I had seen before we started this. But it's one I've always enjoyed when I've gotten to watch it. So we're going to go back after this is all done and rewatch the ones we really liked, like maybe the top 7, like 7 to 10. We haven't decided yet, and see like where they fall and like. Because it's like, we get further away from the earlier ones, especially the Connery ones, because Sean Connery had some really good ones, but it's like, oh, I want to make this one even better than Connery, but it's like, oh, were they really? So we need to go back and do some more ranking and figuring out. But oh my gosh, I'm enjoying this. Like, it has just been so much fun. Even the really crappy ones that we've watched, because there have been some bombs in there.
Does the box set include the not canon Sean Connery?
Actually, no. That one's
again?
not. Yeah, that one's not in there because probably rights issues or something. Yes. I'm sure is what it was. But we're gonna track that one down anyway and watch it, because Jared's like, nah, you need to watch that one. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like, I'll watch more Connery Bond, sure.
And then if you want some background with that one, it's an older episode. It's episode 7, 007 of Cult Cinema Cavalcade. They do an episode of that one. So if you want some background for that one,
I'll have to look that up.
Listen to it.
Yeah, I'll go find that. But yeah, like every time I'm like, especially, and I'll just keep going back to Living Daylights, because that one is still like, I think it was because I wasn't expecting. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Timothy Dalton to be so good. I don't really know why. Maybe it's just because he's not in it. He's only had 2. But I sat there and was like, okay, it is not fair that he only got 2 movies. Like, whatever shenanigans were going on, and I did look it up. At the end of his era with the rights and the stuff and whatever going on, I'm like, that just stinks. I kind of consider him the Colin Baker of Bonds. It's like, there was executive meddling that messed him up, and he didn't get to do more. He didn't get to do his due. So you know what? Dang.
And then years later, Timothy Dalton becomes Wrestle-On.
Yeah. So it all connects back to Doctor Who in some way, anyway. So But anyway, yeah. I just. Because like after we finished Living Daylights, I just sat there and I'm like, I would totally watch that one again tomorrow. And it was like late, so we were gonna go to bed. But I was like, yeah, no, I want to watch this one again, because it was so good. So yeah, but anyway, our Bond movie experiment has been very, very fun and entertaining. And I'll actually put a link to the top 5 rankings, the top 5 videos for that, and because that's kind of what spurred all this on. and it's a good series regardless. They're the hosts and everything, and then they have some really good funny jokes and skits and stuff. But anyway, so and then I also finally watched the Paddington movies. That's what I did in early 2018 that I couldn't remember, because Black Nerd Comedy was talking about Paddington 2, and I was like, I haven't seen Paddington 1 yet. So I found that on Netflix, and I'm like, totally fell in love. I mean, I've always loved Paddington, the books and everything, but the movie, I mean, when you hear they're doing a movie of some, wonderful children's classic book character, you're just kind of like, oh, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna ruin this? And then they don't, and you're like very pleasantly surprised. The first Paddington movie was adorable. Just I love it, and it got me looking for Paddington books to read to Alex. This was before he was really mobile and wiggly, and so he could just sit there in his little bouncy chair, and I'd read the chapter books. But now he wants to do it himself, so I'm like, we're gonna wait till you're a little older for those, I guess. But yeah, I love Paddington, and I think I like the first movie.
Those yet.
Yeah,
I think I like the first one just a little bit more than the second, but they're both very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
now, does memory serve? Does Peter Capaldi show up in those?
He's in both of them, right?
He's in both of them. He is the grumpy neighbor.
Yeah.
In fact,
if anything else, I should watch it for Peter Capaldi, because I love him.
Yeah, he tries to he flirts with Nicole Kidman, who plays the villain in the first one, and she uses him to sneak into the house because she's trying to kidnap Paddington, and then she insults him and spurns him, and he turns around and like helps the Browns when Paddington's in trouble because she insulted him so much. And it's not, he's not helping them out of the goodness of his heart. He's helping them because this lady has done him wrong.
The evil, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, yes, exactly. I mean, he doesn't have a big part in helping, but it's there. He does.
It's Peter Capaldi though.
Yes, and he's wonderful. And after seeing him in Doctor Who, and see him being crap, now I can't remember the neighbor's name. I'm blanking on it. But yeah, he's wonderful. I have to look up the name of the character, because I'm like, I know it. And once
because it's something not, it's like, he has an actual name. It's not Paddington's neighbor.
Yeah.
Mr. Curry?
And it's Mr. Curry. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Oh, and Matt Lucas too.
Yeah, Matt Lucas is in it. Let's see, and Mrs. Weasley plays the Browns' housekeeper. Well, Julie Walters, but yeah. It's a lot of there's a lot of
12 actors in Britain. Yeah.
And there's a lot of Harry Potter alums too.
Yeah.
12 actors in Britain run Rockroy.
Yeah. The funniest bit is Dumbledore and Dolores Umbridge play Paddington's aunt and uncle. Although
seriously? Oh my.
Seriously.
Yep.
Oh my.
Yep. I'm looking at the cast list right now, and they're right next to each other.
That's been on my list to watch.
It's just got moved up.
Since it was announced. I'm probably going to be watching it this week. Is it still on Netflix?
I'm not sure. It that's how I watched the first one. I'm going to have to double check. But yeah, so yeah, put that on, if it's on Netflix still, put it on your Netflix queue, because I mean, just as general, especially if you like Paddington or any of that stuff, it's just a good one. Paddington. I'm looking it up on Netflix now. Oh no, I think it's been taken off. Shoot.
No!
But we've got Peter Rabbit and Woody Woodpecker and some other really.
Yeah.
That annoys me.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's available for rent on like Amazon and.
Yeah,
I
I searched it. It's available on iTunes, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and others.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm glad I watched it when was on Netflix.
That's happened to me a few times. Like I'll watch a movie or a show on Netflix, and like as soon as I was done watching, it was off. I'm like, really? What do I want to watch again? Huh? Guess not.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess I won't be watching it this. Well, maybe I don't know. I get paid this week, so maybe.
Yeah. Or you could probably at your local library or something. I don't know.
That's true. I should do that.
So anyway, so that's my movie. I guess that covers all my movie stuff now.
Paddington 2 is on HBO now if you have a subscription.
Yeah, that's always the tricky bit.
Okay, so my turn?
Believe so.
Oh boy, what do I pick? If we're going, now let's do a movie route that's sequels that have been a few years in the making that worth the wait. Incredibles 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Mm-hmm.
Both awesome.
I still haven't seen Incredibles 2, so I can't comment on that one. But I love Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I think I liked Ralph Breaks the Internet more than I liked Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes, that I have to agree with. Yes.
I think that might be a generational thing, just because I did not grow up in the arcade and like I'm not a big video gamer, so I think a lot of that is lost on me. But the internet, I'm totally down with. So. But Incredibles 2, yes, it definitely, if we never get another Fantastic Four movie, I think I'd be okay with that. Let's just keep giving us Incredibles movie because this is a Fantastic Four that we deserve.
I think I've seen that like before. Like we already have a good Fantastic Four. It's Incredibles.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Stop trying to make Fantastic Four happen. It's not going to happen.
Fantastic Five technically now.
And I can't wait to find out exactly what kind of powers Jack is officially going to have.
Time, darling. Time will tell.
Yeah, especially once he gets out of babyhood.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if Violet and Dash went through the same thing.
I'm guessing not.
Well, if they did, they wouldn't have been so surprised.
Yeah.
True.
At least I'm assuming they were surprised.
Yeah, I think if either of the other kids had gone through something similar, I think someone would have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when visiting Edna.
Oh, true. Or who knows,
when Edna was explaining Jack's powers, essentially.
Yeah. Or maybe Edna decided to take it easy on the parents and did a little jiggery-pokery with the memory for the first two.
I don't think Edna cares that much.
True.
All she cares about is knuckles.
Yeah. But I was surprised how well she and Jack hit it off, though.
Edna mode, if she wasn't already my spirit animal with the first movie,
yes,
she definitely was. In the second movie when Mr. Incredible takes Jack there, and she's explaining that Jack's powers, or why he's showing so many abilities at such a young age, and she says something about parenting is a something about parenting being something for the strong, or the most capable, or whatever. And she's like, thankfully that affliction has never come upon me. I'm like, yes, Edna. It's like, I will babysit for a little bit, but I do not want one. Mm-hmm. Leave me to my designs, darling. Yeah. It's like, Edna mode, you speak to me.
And keep Jack away from the cookies and the raccoon.
Yeah. Poor raccoon. Hopefully there's never a Incredibles and Pocahontas crossover.
Oh
True.
no.
Poor
an
Miko.
or an Incredibles Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that would be more interesting.
I got
True.
really excited all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, because how much trouble could Jack and Rocket get into together?
Oh, so much trouble.
crud!
A lot.
boy.
A lot.
So much trouble.
I totally
Ooh,
did
Peter
that,
Quill
yeah.
thought he had headaches. Then, ooh,
You thought Thanos was bad.
yes.
Actually, Jack would probably take care of all that.
Yeah, that's true. Just give Jack a num num cookie. He would have those. He would have that Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos so quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have to worry. Star-Lord wouldn't be getting all the hate.
Yep.
Like Jack num num cookie. Just go get the shiny glove
Glove.
off the big
Yeah,
purple
yeah.
man.
Yep. Jack, don't put the glove on and don't do anything with the fingers.
Yeah, we're not. You're not gonna try to snap your fingers like Mr. Rogers with that on.
No. that pretty shiny's gonna go away and get melted.
Yeah.
I have to say, like I said, I haven't seen Incredibles 2 yet, but I really like the advertising, especially the one with Samuel L. Jackson.
Mhm.
Like, he did, like, this whole speech. It sounded like he was advertising for Infinity War or Avengers movie. And, like, it goes to the Incredibles 2 logo, and I think it was Brad Ball that came up saying, yeah, wrong movie. Like, oh, that's clever.
Samuel Jackson's like, hey, whatever. All my paychecks are signed by Mickey Mouse, regardless.
That is true.
Yes, indeed.
It's like whether it's this franchise or the other one, y'all are paying me.
Mhm.
One way or the other.
Yep. You want me as Frozone? I'll be Frozone. You want me as
Nick Fury,
I'll
I
be
can do
Nick
that
Fury.
too. Yep. As long as the check clears.
Mhm.
I will do whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
No, Ralph Breaks the Internet had a good crossover though with all the princesses of Vanellope.
Oh
though.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
one,
Yes.
and not just the scene that's in the trailer where like, were you poisoned? Do you have magic hair? Do you have magic hair?
Were you
Yeah,
kidding?
Vanellope's like, are y'all okay? Do I need to call the police? But then the princesses come back towards the end of the movie to help assist, with saving the day. And that's just as good too, because they all take like their princess like traits and use them kind of like superheroes. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
I really like in Ralph Breaks. I like with Princess when in the pajamas. I love
Yes.
pajamas.
Yes.
Like, are they gonna sell those?
yeah, really.
I'm sure they are. I mean, Disney knows where their bread is buttered, and it is the Disney princesses.
This is
Yeah.
true.
And if they don't sell them in adult sizes, I will make some my size. That is a cosplay I could totally get down with.
Mhm.
Oh, that'd be
Princess in pajamas.
There you go.
most comfiest cosplay ever.
Yeah.
And hey, it's cosplay you can wear as often as you want. You can sleep in it.
Exactly.
Yes, it's what is that? Stealth cosplay or casual
Yes.
cosplay? What do they call it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down with that. Oh my. Oh, I don't know if I really have anything else, other than, the big tent poles, obviously. Infinity War and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Mary Poppins Returns was really good. Bohemian Rhapsody was really good.
I was debating about saying Mary Poppins because like it came out in 2018, but I didn't get to see it until 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the.
I mean,
the thing.
TV-wise, I didn't really watch a whole lot. I mean, Once Upon a Time finally went out. Thank goodness.
Doctor Who, 13th
On a halfway
Doctor,
decent
Jodie
note,
Whittaker.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last season was really good, even if I'm in denial about Coulson. So, yes, Doctor Who was really good.
Yep.
Regardless of what the haters may say, I really enjoyed this season of Doctor Who. Thank you.
Same here.
Yeah. I didn't really read much last year.
Well,
I'm,
Of note, although I did read The Martian last year. That was one book that I did finish, and I did really like that.
That was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you liked it, because that one's one I'll still be like, I want to read that when I can.
Yeah. I
That
actually ended up recommending it to a family member who's not big into fiction because she can't stand just how unrealistic a lot of fiction is.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like,
better
The
not.
Martian. The Martian would be good because the science is really like realistic.
Yeah. And, like when I was, both when I was reading the book and when I was watching the movie, I'm like, this feels like something that, like Apollo 13.
Yes.
Like this actually happened. But
Mhm.
I mean, it didn't, but it feels like it did, the way that they, the way that they.
It's
portrayed
essentially
it.
what it is. It's Apollo 13 on Mars.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's one I still love.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. As far as, I mean, that was one thing I did last year was I read, and like I when I set my Goodreads goal, I was like trying to decide what to do, because I was like, I just want to read this year is like my big thing. So my goal originally was 400 books. I was also counting picture books I was reading to Alex, because
That counts.
yeah, because I'm like, I want to have like sort of a database of picture books and things that I've read to him. And our library has a program called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, because there's like studies done. If you read 1,000 books to your child before they enter kindergarten, they have a like an edge on the kids who don't. And I'm just like, kid, with parents, with the parents you have no hope of not being a reader. It's just gonna happen. So get used to it. But no, he loves books. But I ended up my goal ended up being 450, because I extended it at the end there a little bit, and I actually did make it. But three series that two series that were new in 2018, and one that I came back to after I had started years and years ago and never finished for reasons. One series is, and they've all been around for a little while, depending on which one. The first one that I read that I'd been wanting to read for a long time is Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. That one, it's a kid's book series. It's sort of fantasy, although there's not a lot of magic to it, but it's sort of it's kind of it's this world that's basically an analog to medieval Europe. But they don't use the same, like, I can never say it. I can spell it. Araluan is England, and then there's Gaulis, which is France, and Nihonja is Japan, and there's a couple others that I'm forgetting. But basically, it's a story of this orphan kid, Will, who he becomes an apprentice for, he wants to be a warrior. But he doesn't get accepted into battle school, and when he turns 12, because he's little and scrawny and really doesn't have the skills for it, or the aptitude for it. And his best friend becomes a knight, but he instead gets apprenticed to the one of the rangers. The ranger, Halt is his name. And so the series basically shows Will growing up, becoming a ranger in his own right. So he starts when he's like 12, and he you follow him and probably like into his early 20s or something. But he has like adventures with his friend Horace, who's the kid who becomes a knight. His other friend Alice, she becomes like she's apprenticed to it's called couriers, but it's more like a diplomatic function, I guess. Is so she and her mentor, Lady Pauline, are like the best diplomats of the kingdom, and sort of thing. So it's like, and each story is more or less standalone, although one book, I think it's book 5, you actually have to read it before, because there's a big time jump in between there. And so, okay, I'm looking it up so I can say it for sure what it is. And Goodreads my internet's being very, very slow. All right, I should have had this ready to go. But yeah, there's like a time jump in between. And you're like, but wait, we didn't see what happened between this thing happening and this next one happening. So he went back and filled in the gaps a little bit. So the order that is listed on Goodreads or wherever you're looking is probably not the real reading order that you need to do it in. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, the seventh book, Eric's Ransom, should actually be read after book 4 and before book 5. So that one's the real book 5. So if you read it, book 7 should actually be book 5, and then after that you just follow the order as you need to go. So that was a lot of fun. One thing I read, another series I read is The Extraordinaries by Melissa McShane. The first book is Burning Bright, and I've had it on my Kindle for a while, but it was also highlighted at the library as part of the Reader's Choice program earlier in the year. They picked 20 or so books from different genres that are like, here, these are some awesome books. You people should read them. And she's actually a local author here in Salt Lake. I actually know people who know her. And so her series, The Extraordinary, starts with Burning Bright, and it's basically magic during the Regency period in England. And I know there's another series that's like a big name author, and I'm not going to mention because she's actually kind of a jerk. So I've heard she's actually done some really nasty things to people I know. And she wrote a similar series that was like Pride and Prejudice with magic. It was actually kind of boring, and I'm like, no, read this one if you want that sort of a thing. Because the first book, Burning Bright, is about a woman who she can manipulate fire, and so she ends up being talking her way onto serving on a Navy ship so that they can fight, so she can use her ability to fight the enemy with her fire magic. And she has really, really good fire magic, and it's actually very taboo for her to be up there, but she doesn't care, so she's just going to go do it anyway. And it's really funny and really cute and sweet and exciting and all those good things that you want in your historical fantasy stuff. And then there are 2 other books after that. I read those were great. And then she has a lot of other series that I'm starting to get into, but I'm reading this year. So anyway, so Melissa McShane is the author. Her first, the series is The Extraordinaries. First book is Burning Bright. So I highly recommend those. And then the other series that I am still working on, but that I started years ago and dropped for no really good reason, just I got busy, is the Vorkosigan Saga by Lois McMaster Bujold. And that's the premise of it is this guy Miles Vorkosigan. He's actually a son of a count on his native Barriar, and before he was born, there was an assassination attempt on his parents while his mom was pregnant, and that he was, and so the poison that they got attacked with actually affected him before he was born. So he has stunted growth and a couple other birth defects, and so he kind of has to prove himself despite his physical limitations. And he actually is basically a genius, but not a snotty, egotistical one, just because of the way of the society that he grows up in. He just really has to work to prove himself, and he becomes, I mean he does stupid things, and he has moments where he's like, well, I shouldn't have done that, and it gets him into a lot of trouble. But then he also has moments where he's the smartest guy in the room, and he gets out by the skin of his teeth. But that's another one where the publication order and the reading order is way crazy, and you kind of have to look up. There is a note on the Goodreads page for the whole series. Then that's the one. That's the reading order I've been following. But if you want to hear it, or if you want to, feel free to message me if you want it, because it's kind of complicated. But it is still, I have a friend who's like, this is her favorite series of all time, and she reads it often, and I've been meaning to read it. And I'm just like, yeah, this is great. This is fun. So if you need a good sort of military sci-fi series you want to get into, I mean, this one's been around a while, and I think she's still adding to it, just kind of here and there and everywhere. So just and it's supposedly it's written to where you can jump in at any point, but there are some books that need to be read before others so you can understand who is what and going on. Like there's one character in particular, like if you do not read the book where he is first introduced, you have no idea what's going on. But so anyway, those are my books. I read a lot more, but those are the ones I wanted to talk about. And I will keep going if I don't pass it on to somebody else. I can talk books all day, guys. You know me. You know how I am.
This is what happens when you have a friend who's a librarian.
Yes. It's like you want...
This is why Tiny has no choice. You're going to love books.
Yes, I think that's how he's gonna, if he, when he's a teenager, or if he wants to rebel, that's how he's gonna rebel. Like, I don't want to read books. I want to play video games. I'm like, well, your dad.
Let me tell you about Fallout.
We'll tell you about Fallout. We'll tell you about Super Mario Kart, and your daddy will tell you about the Elder Scrolls and Diablo and all these others. And he's like, never mind.
Darn,
something
else.
else.
Drawing board.
It's like, oh, how else do I like sports? Well, let me tell you about the football. Football this week. No, we're not going to bring that up today.
No.
No.
Not today. I wish I had inherited things like that from my parents. Both of my parents were cops, so I just inherited a love of donuts.
I love donuts too.
Which explains my waistline. No, I don't have anything else, not really. So, anybody else have anything else?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess I'll go.
Go for it.
I got to see one of my favorite musicians in concert finally. I got to see Lindsay Stirling in July.
Yes.
That was so amazing. Like, she's so energetic and like dancing and moving all around while playing the violin. I was like, how?
Yeah.
And it says
she and the violin are one.
Mm-hmm. And like in between some of the songs, she would come and talk a little bit. Very nice inspiration speeches, which that was a nice little bonus.
Yeah, she definitely tries to make her concerts something worthwhile, like the whole family can attend, and and you're gonna get something out of it other than, her music's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but she also, tries to put that little extra in it to.
Definitely.
I think part of that comes from because she got her start on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to be something that carries over from folks who got their start on like YouTube.
Yeah, it's because I mean when you're doing YouTube or things online, it's like it's just you and your computer and your camera, whatever it is you're doing, and you don't really have a manager or an agent or someone building up your ego and telling you, oh, you're awesome, you're amazing, and I'm going to take care of everything and blah blah blah. And so it's really very much a a self-made artist sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
You interact with the people that are enjoying your stuff too on YouTube. You get comments, you want to comment back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is essentially the same thing. To be able to type.
It's just, I definitely recommend if you're a fan of her, definitely go see her live. It's just so amazing. I'll definitely go again if I have the chance.
always recommend if you've got a favorite artist and you can see them in person, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you have the means, you can't beat a live performance, regardless of the music, the type of music. So,
Yep.
This is why I'm seeing Weird Al again. I saw him last year. I'm seeing it again this year.
If you could do it more than once, then yep, do that too.
Well, it's a different tour, so. Metallica, not so much. It's still the exact same tour, but
Hey, it's worth going again.
yes. Well, when you got a husband who's as big a fan as mine is, you don't really have a choice. But thankfully, I've been converted. So,
how many times have you guys seen Metallica? Because I know you guys saw them twice in 1 year.
We saw them twice 2 years ago. And then we saw them once when he and I first started dating. So I've seen them 3 times. He's seen them more than that. So this will be show number 4. But this will be the 3rd time on this particular tour. So
That is dedication.
Because they did part of the U.S. and then they went to Europe and then they took a break for the holidays and now they're back in the U.S. So, but I don't have to stand up this time around, which is good.
That's good.
It's indoors anyway, but still. Have I got anything else?
I think I went through all mine. I guess I was afraid that I wouldn't have time, so I was just like, here. I'm just gonna lump them all together. Here we go.
No, that's totally okay. We'll try to put links to as much as possible.
I have
whether it's websites or Goodreads listings or YouTube videos or whatever. So
I have a book that I read. It came out, I don't remember, it was not 2018, but a movie of it came out in 2018, which is Ready Player One.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
I really loved the book. Like I think it was like one of the first times in a long time I was able to read it in a day.
Yeah, I read the book last year and saw the movie last year. I finished the book a couple days, I think, before I went and saw the movie. So I was kind of close there.
See, there's a book you read.
Yeah. Yeah, my Goodreads goal was to read 10 books, which was the exact same goal I had the year before, and I failed epically last year. So I could not quite get into the groove of reading last year. I don't know what it was. One of those things. No, I haven't bothered to set a goal this year. If I'll just track what and if I read anything, and when I get to the end and the number will be whatever it is, and I'll go, hey, look at that, yay me.
Yep.
I should do that. I used to love to track my books on Goodreads.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think the only reason I was able to meet my goal in 2017 is because I reread all of the Harry Potter series before going to Florida. So that's 7 books right there.
That would do it. It's just at this point in my life, reading is kind of my thing. It's always been my thing, but it's sort of like it's hard for me to get to the movie theater, and it's like I'm not upset about any of this. It's just kind of like this is kind of fun. Like I'm really getting into all my books and all the reading that all these books I've been wanting to read for years and just haven't got around to it. Like I said, like the Vorkosigan saga, I've always wanted to read them, and I started and didn't finish, and now I'm getting around to it, and it's great.
I think I listened to more Big Finish last year than I did read books. So.
Here's a dirty little secret. Big Finish is actually listed on
Goodreads. Yes, I know.
So you can count those.
Yeah. They count. They're books.
I'd have to check, but I think my Big Finish count was more than actual books.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Count, that can be your that'll be your That'll be how you do it.
Yep.
And most of the graphic comics are on Goodreads as well. Those count too. You're reading.
Cool.
It's like I tell the teachers, the parents, the kids who come to the library, it's like, hey, if you're reading comics, if you're reading graphic novels, guess what? You're reading. It
Yes.
counts.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, like, for me, like, I haven't been reading too many books. It's been more fan fiction for me. I'm still reading, but it's fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you're reading the back of the cereal box. You're reading.
Yep.
Hey, before we had smartphones and all that fun stuff, you know, a lot of us, our reading was shampoo bottles and all the toiletries in the bathroom when you were in the bathroom for a while. So
Yep.
Exactly.
And to like was smart and actually made books for reading in the bathroom. I had books that, like, I forgot what they were called, but like they were like these little all had like facts and little stories that, like, read this while you're in the bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
ancient copies of Reader's Digest. Yeah.
oh yeah.
No, I have a funny story to tell. So there was somebody I was listening to, them, and they were going on about all these people who, you know, they're attached to their phones and Facebook and you know, and they don't talk to one another or they don't read, and I'm like, I read on my phone.
Exactly.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's
like it takes up a lot less space. So I'm not having to lug around a book. It automatically keeps my place for me.
Yeah.
I have to remember what page I was on.
Yeah, like I've got my Kindle. Like, do you know how many books I have on this thing?
No kidding.
Although I think at some point it started telling me that I was running out of room, and I'm like, how the heck did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta be a little more judicious about that.
Like on my apps on my phone, I have the Apple Book app. I have Kindle. I have Audible because audiobooks count.
Oh yes. Oh
I
yes.
had Walmart even has an ebook thing now.
Yeah, because they bought out Kobo.
Kobo. Yep.
Yeah.
I should know
And then
that.
there's Nook.
Yeah.
And
Like you get all the reading apps, you are set.
Yep. You have a TARDIS-sized library at your fingertips.
I know. Like when I was a kid, my dream was to have a big room with all these books, and that kind of still is my dream. But at the same time, I'm like, I got it right here. It fits in my pocket or fits in my purse, and hi.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, I
Just
like
up from his nap.
I know people like have the books versus ebooks. I'm like, I'm like a hybrid, I guess. I read ebooks. I still read physical books. I still buy physical books. Like within
it's
this month.
exact same content.
Exactly.
Yep, it is. I mean, yeah, sure, you might not get all the artwork, but that's what the internet's for. In fact, I was telling somebody online today. They're like, because Larry Correa is coming out with a second Son of the Black Sword next month, and they're talking about his signing schedule and, you know, where he's going to be. Sorry, Alex came in and wanted to say hi. Anyway, so they're all
got to voice his
like,
opinion.
yes, he does. And all these people are like, oh, but I get the ebook. How are you going to sign that? And I said, no, this is what you do. You get a blank journal or a blank notebook. You print off the cover of the books you have on ebook. You put it in there and let them sign that. And then you have all your signatures in like a little autograph book. Yes, honey, we're almost done, I think.
He's reiterating, yes, Mr. Rogers, favorite of 2018.
Yes, do you want to talk about Mr. Rogers, all the things you watched this year?
Yeah.
Oh, apparently he's discovered Swedish Chef on YouTube, and he thinks that's a hilarious thing. Like all the Muppets. You love the Muppets, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Swedish Chef kind of speaks his language.
Kinda, yes. Okay,
Kind of sounds like the Swedish Chef.
He kind of does. Okay, he's gonna go with his daddy, and we're gonna finish up here. It's okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Yep. Let's finish up.
Okay. So anyway, so if you, dear listeners, have anything you guys want to talk about, that you watched, listened to, read, in 2018 that you are like really excited about and want to tell people about, and we will be happy to read feedback about that if you want to send that to us. Our email address is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, which is thefiveishfangirls.com. And at our website, there are links to all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and iTunes. And you can download us on iTunes and Google Play. Yeah, that's what it's called. And Stitcher Radio as well. And leave reviews if you would be so kind. You can also support the podcast through Patreon, through our Amazon store, and through our merch shop. And as always, we thank our supporters who have supported us financially, because that makes it really easy and possible for us to continue bringing this. So we're very humbled and appreciative of your that you feel like we're worth your couple of bucks, whatever you do. Yeah. So thank you. And and I guess that closes the book officially on 2018 for us, huh?
Yep. I think so. All right, with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany and Bethlehem saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana, and hooper in the machine of a goal of a flurry.
Good night, everyone.
To the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at thefivishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review on iTunes. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/Fiveish Fangirls podcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official Fiveish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/Fiveish Fangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fiveish Fangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.